Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Otakuology podcast. I'm your host, Otaku Mike. With me as always is Jen Graves.
Yeah. Great.
If you're new to the Otakuology podcast, we like to talk a lot about a lot of different nerdy topics and things we're interested in. And today we're talking about a good one. Some might say a spicy topic for all those cultured individuals out there, those cultured people.
The fappers?
Maybe. I don't know. You know, those people who want to get into or know more about the adult entertainment industry. We are covering Manga Diary of a Male Porn Star, Vol.1. That's right. Yeah, this is one that I made Jen pick up.
This is true.
It's true, yeah. I was like, Jen, pick this up.
Right. Well, starting out, the thing that makes me really feel weird on this one is I almost feel like the guy kind of went with it like a Goodnight Pun Pun.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you. I have a question for you, though. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
But reading the book, and there's a part where he starts like talking about the book, like right in the middle of the book.
About this manga?
Yeah, in this manga, there's like a part where it's a whole page where you get a whole paragraph of him talking about the book and how it was created, like right smack dab in the middle of the manga.
Right, where it's not actually part of the story, but it's...
Is this an autobiographical, sort of?
Okay, do you have the book in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay, close the book and look at the very bottom of the cover.
Oh, I think I just answered my question.
Yeah, you're welcome.
He's actually a former male porn star, you think?
Yeah. Well, and he might still be doing it. You never know. I mean, we're not led to believe that or whatever, but like you said, because obviously nobody else can really look at it if they don't have it in front of them or whatever. But the story and the art are by Kaeruno Erefante.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Which, as we're reading it, Kaeruno is the guy that we'll be bringing up. And so it might have a few places that are actually like dramatized here and there, but it is autobiographical, because this is supposed to be the parts that stick out to him, his journey of being a male porn star.
Do you think Kaeruno might be a pen name?
I don't know. I really feel like Kaeruno might be his real name, and Erefante might be part of
Erefante is not Japanese.
No, it's not. I don't know where the hell that came from.
I don't know. Who knows?
But yeah, I don't know. But I mean, at some point he had to have liked manga too if he did the story and the art for it.
Well, at one point he does say he's an otaku.
Right.
Because he likes manga and anime at one point. It's like towards the end of the manga. He's like, I didn't know other people liked... They call him cultured.
And I can't really wait till like the next one comes out of this.
I'm really interested in seeing when the next one comes out.
Yeah, because I want to know what. Because I mean, like this first one, we kind of talked about it a little bit before when we were off air about how closely related this one kind of is. Well, in terms of like explaining everything, it's very heavy in explaining a lot of stuff. Yeah. So I kind of wonder what the rest of it is. If there's more.
I'm very interested in see.
Because the info drop in this one.
Anyways, do you want to get into this? Because we're just talking about the manga right now.
Right.
Do you want to get into this story?
And that's one other thing with this too that I want to throw out there. is who knew? Like I knew there were some parts to it, like more the business side, how you
Yeah.
act, but this one really goes in and explains um a lot of stuff, like the
Mm.
professionalism that you're supposed to have with it.
Like
So
I knew a lot of the information that they had in this book
yeah,
because I actually listened to a podcast
yeah,
where they talk to porn stars and they talk about the business. It's a really interesting podcast.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of those that you listen.
I
So
found it one day and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting.
I gotta try this one out.
I got to listen to this." I learned a lot about the porn industry that there was a
So
lot of misconceptions about.
I found a podcast once, and it was on like somebody's Instagram or Twitter or something,
Yeah.
and it's this one guy, and I don't know how he's related to the industry, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's a girl that's a porn star or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Well, and the only way that I really knew like a big part about it was the link that they had to get into it
Mm-hmm.
was through Pornhub. So when you clicked on it, it sent you over to Pornhub to watch it, and all it was an interview.
Oh, mine, the one I listened to is actually a podcast.
Yeah, no, it is a podcast, but it
Uh-huh.
was like an interview setup for,
Okay.
it would be like you and I in the same room podcasting like we
Oh,
do
okay.
now, having the camera look at us. But that was another thing that threw me off because I was like, okay, well, it's really cool, like watching part of it. And then there was one where the girl just didn't have her top on at all, and I was like, what the hell is this? So I guess that's why they have a visual part of it as well, but
Yeah.
who knows?
So let's get into this manga. So our manga starts out with, I don't remember exactly what his age is to be exact. I want to say maybe in his like 20s, late mid 20s, late 20s. I don't know. We have
Yeah, like no, I think he's in his 30s already.
30s.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure there's a part where it says um that he started and he was married for a while, and that's kind of how
Yeah,
everything started. And
yeah,
I think his marriage was in his late 20s, and so
maybe.
when he got out of his marriage, he's in his 30s.
So we meet our main character, Kirino. Kirino just got to the big city. I believe he just lost his job. His marriage has ended. And he has moved to the city to have a fresh start. And you have a new lease on life. And he goes to meet a friend. And his friend is named Aki. And Aki is a porn producer. And they start catching up and talking
Uh,
and whatnot
no,
about.
he doesn't meet Aki yet. He met
Oh,
Aki through his friend.
oh, sorry. He meets Aki through his friend. My bad. I am
Yeah,
so
yeah,
sorry. He meets Aki through his friend, and he starts talking. He's like, "What? You're a porn producer? You make porn?" He's like, can I come and watch? Can I come and be like a voyeur?" He's like, "Nah, we don't do that kind of shit.
right.
We can't do that kind of shit. But if you want to join in and help make it,
Yeah, then you can be a Shiru actor,
you can be a Shiryu actor," which I
which
never heard of.
and it's got to just be because Shiru obviously has to do with Japanese, but I kind of wonder what it's called in English.
So I like it in this book where it has like the liner notes on the side.
Yeah,
So Shiru is a slang for cum in Japanese. These actors ejaculate without showing their faces on camera.
yeah,
The more you know. Dun, dun, dun.
right. But I don't know what they're called. I don't
I
know
don't
what
know.
one of those would be called here, though.
Maybe the same thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you translate Shiro into? Just cum actor?
I
I
guess
don't know. Who knows?
there's no telling on that one.
Yeah, I know, right? And he kind of talks about like what you're gonna do, and uh, there's a lot of exposition in this first chapter. where we see him get to the site or the place or the studio where they make the porn. He meets the director. He thinks the director is going to be this big, burly, like Yakuza guy. Turns out,
Right.
just a guy. It's just a guy.
Right.
So he has preconceived notions of what porn actually is and how they make porn. Because
Right.
apparently people think porn is a shady business. Sometimes it might
Right.
be if you get in with the wrong crowd. But
Right. And I feel like that's kind of another thing too. Like anybody that has like watched porn before or anything else like that, like we all do have preconceived notions of what we think it is,
yeah, that's true.
without actually knowing.
But I like this scene where he's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna, do this." He thought he was gonna be in a room with a bunch of other actors,
Right.
you know, just a bunch of other naked dudes in a room with a girl. Thought he was gonna get his dick wet of some kind, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to sign these paperwork, and okay, we're gonna get the scene ready. Okay, it's gonna be you and this girl, and I just need you to lay on the bed. It's gonna be a POV thing." And he starts
Right.
freaking out that his head's gonna be
What
seen.
what's POV?
Point of view.
Yeah.
It's point of view.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, they're gonna see my face. They're gonna see my identity." And he starts like freaking out, and he's like, "Oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. How am I gonna get my dick hard? What's gonna happen? Oh my god, oh no, oh no." And so they're setting up for the scene, and I like this little scene where he starts like take his pants off. And he's like, "Whoa!" The director's like, "Whoa there, whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't just whip it out.
Right.
Don't just." I love this scene. I posted it on Instagram. It was
Yeah.
just, don't whip it out.
Right.
And we have them laying on the bed, the actor and the uh,
The actress.
Kirino and the actor on the bed,
Actress.
and the actress. Yeah, sorry, the actress. And the cameraman is like, "Okay, we're gonna get this shot," and he's like, "Well, why don't they just shoot from behind me? Why do they have to get so up close?" And basically, this cameraman's ass is right in Kirino's face.
Right.
And he's like freaking out. He's like, "What the fuck's going on? How am I gonna do this? What if I don't get hard? What's going on?" Okay, we're done. Oh, we're done. Okay. Here's your money.
Right.
Here's your money. You did a good job. Maybe we'll see you again some other day.
Right.
Right?
Right. Get the girl out of there.
Yeah. As simple as that. He what's the word I'm looking for? He hyped it up so much in his head. He was like, "Oh, that's easy. That's easy to do."
Right.
So what happens next?
After
Do
he
you
cleans
remember?
up and everything.
Yeah, after the shoot's done and done
Yeah.
with.
Then they get ready to go to another studio to have more like scenes, because I guess that this first one that we kind of see in chapter
Yeah, I
one
think it's like a
was
couple days
really,
later.
yeah, it was really just like his tryout session, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
without him knowing.
Yeah.
Um, but we go in, he gets all this older stuff, which I think it's funny too that he is like, what do they call it, an AD?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what AD stands for.
In assistant director.
Maybe like assistant director type of thing. But he starts helping out at these shoots.
Yeah.
I think like setting up equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It seemed like, and he gets to do another scene, but this time he's standing up, and they're like, "Okay, make sure you bend your knees, and when she's going down on you, make sure you brush her hair out of the way so we can see her face on camera." And all these technical things that go into shooting a scene, which is really interesting to think about. How,
Wait, are you on chapter 2?
yeah, it's chapter 2, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, what about where the other girl was sitting there or whatever?
yeah, because chapter 2 is like a day or two later,
Yeah.
and he's with Aki, and Aki takes him to another place, and we kind of it's kind of like a rinse and repeat scenario where he freaks out. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. He freaks out a lot in this book.
Right.
But
But
what did you think of this chapter?
I thought it was pretty funny. I didn't realize um, that they used the same actress or whatever on different scenes. So, like for him, they're doing another blowjob scene like he
Hmm.
did originally with
Yeah, but
in the
this
first
one's a
chapter.
different. This one's a different actress.
But then the actress is also she's also doing another scene where she's going to sleep with another guy.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
they use because they make a point to say that they have to recharge their uh their little Johnnies as they call them.
right,
But he was like, oh man, I like this part at the end of the second chapter where he's they're finishing up and he's like, yeah, a few days later, I landed another gig, and he's thinking to himself as he's getting his dick sucked. He's like, maybe this is my calling. Maybe I'm gonna be a porn star. And he's like,
right,
that was the last time they called me. A few months later.
right. Which I kind of wonder what he did in between all this.
Yeah, it's true. I think he probably just sat around and waited for a phone call. I
Oh
think.
goodness.
But do you want
Yeah.
to take this part, this Venn diagram type of situation where they do a whole thing about breaking into the porn industry and talk about that?
Oh yeah.
All right.
So they talk about, and it's got a pyramid stuff, and on the bottom we have, it kind of looks like the food pyramid to an
It
extent.
is the food pyramid.
We have extra from the bottom, Shiro actor, male porn star, and top male porn star.
Yeah.
And we have the higher you go, the higher pay it is, and there's less people involved.
Yeah.
So basically, for an extra, you're just standing around. There's nothing else. Sheer actor is where they're basically using your body, not your face. Male
Yeah.
porn star is where you actually break into where they actually know you, and then obviously top male porn star is being like famous.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But it is pretty understandable with part of this stuff of making the higher pay and everything, but it also seems very understandable with less people. So you might have scenes with the same person, more
Mhm.
often or something like that,
Yeah.
because now it's not like, oh, well, I'm just getting this random like blowjob scene or whatever. I'm actually filming with this person, and we have to have some kind of a repertoire together and
Yeah, you have to
stuff like that.
actually act in the scene because there's always like which they talk about later. It's like, okay, let's do like a couple minutes of this and let's switch it up and we'll go and do this position over here or this over here, it's not like a
Right,
continuous we're just gonna fucking film you guys doing this stuff. Like it takes him several hours to like film.
right,
At one point it's like a 12 or 13-hour day for them
right.
filming,
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the other thing is that I've seen stuff on, especially is how much like you do that stuff because you have maybe like the actual scene that you have with somebody, and it could be the same person the whole time or whatever. And then you actually have like parts where you're like almost like a hand or a foot model or something.
Yeah.
They try to use penises that are closely resemble alike,
Hmm.
unless it's just going to be with that porn star that's not the Shiro actor.
Yeah.
And then you also have parts where it might not even be somebody related to the scene, and you take pictures for like the cover of the DVD or whatever that's going to get sold.
Hmm.
Which
we'll get to that in like a chapter or two.
Right, and I
With
don't
that
think we
aspect.
actually ever cover the the photo shoot aspect of it, but we cover basically everything else.
Yeah. And so I think like a couple days goes by or like a month goes by. He's just sitting at home. Uh uh and he's like, man, I really need a job. I need a job. I gotta get a job. He's just kind of moping around, Kirino is, and he's like, hello? Like he gets a phone call. He's like, hello? He's like, hey, I need you to come over here and do something for me, be an extra in this thing. He's like, all right, I got a job. I'm going to go do this. He meets up with Aki and talks to Aki. He's like, yeah, you're going to go here, do this thing, get some money. And he's going to be an extra in this thing. He thinks it's going to be like before, where he's going to get his, get his dick sucked and whatnot, and have a little fun time, get paid. Turns out, yeah, that's not how things go down. When he gets there, Kirino finds out that he's going to be an extra in this scene, and
Right.
what that consists of is him standing in a fake train car for 13 hours, not looking at anything.
Right.
Talk about a job right there. Talk about acting, right?
Right.
God, that's crazy.
Right.
What did you think of that when that popped off?
I thought that was pretty crazy, especially with how much approximately we start making when it just comes to that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, essentially, like, they might not be, like, using your face or anything in it, but you're essentially just standing there to make, like, I feel like chump change, honestly.
You're basically like a prop.
Right.
You're
And
your background actor.
Right. And you're just there. I mean, and I kind of wonder if what the ratio is in like regular actors and people that we see that are just background actors in other movies.
Yeah.
Versus like porn.
I want to say I think if you're like a background actor or whatever, I want to say maybe it's like $500 you get.
Yeah. But
so I remember hearing something about like when John Candy did Home Alone, he like, yeah, just pay me like a walk on role type of thing, and it was like just $500.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wonder if if you get more for doing like a porn style one.
I don't know. It's hard to. I don't know. I don't know what the rates are. I do know that porn.
Or I mean, do you get less?
I mean, I know if you're well known in the porn industry, you do make a lot of money.
Yeah,
there is that.
Right.
But it's not just shooting film. Like they do a lot of different stuff.
That's true.
In that thing, they have a lot of different things that they do. So
that's true. And I feel like with Kaeruno, we do get a good gist out of it because we were just doing the Shiro actor part, and now we're back into a lower role than that, which is the extra. And then we will change around a few more times. So, it's not like all the time we have stuff that we actually think about.
It's true. He's like working his way through the porn industry, paying his dues, as some might say. But I like this scene where they're starting to shoot in this scene. He's like, "Oh man, I'm squished. I can't see." And the girl comes in. He's like, "Oh, high school student. What's going on?" And then in the note below here it says, "As you can guess, she is only cosplaying as a high school student. She is an adult. I just want to be absolutely clear."
Right.
Oh man, that was funny. But yeah, he gets it.
Which I mean, that happens a lot too, especially with Asian people. I feel like.
Oh yeah, we could get into that later on. That's a whole topic into itself, right there.
Right.
to be honest,
this is one of those books in my collection. I feel like I have to hide because one of my brothers is really into Asian women.
Oh yeah.
And so I kind of feel like I gotta like hide this book because I feel like he'll think that it's like, oh, it's the dirty secrets of the universe. I'm like, well, it's not really that dirty or anything. It's more just factual. But he is just so like head over heels over Asian women that I try not to add anything extra to that.
Yeah.
So, and I've heard him be like, "Oh, well, such and such looks like a child." I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know who we're talking about, but okay.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I get it. But yeah, he finishes up with that job. He's kind of bummed out a little bit about it again. He's bummed out that he didn't get to have any fun. And he was like, oh, I think he made like maybe like a couple thousand yen.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly, but he gets a phone call, another phone call. He's sitting around as always, and he gets it for a shoot. And they go in, and he's like, "Oh, what am I gonna do?" They're gonna do a photo shoot, and he's like, "Oh, well, what's gonna happen in this photo shoot? What you know?" And he has all these preconceived notions of what's gonna happen. He's like, "Oh, I should just go walk into the." He starts like daydreaming of some kind, and like he's like, "I'm gonna go walk in, and there's gonna be a porn star in this dressing room, and I'm gonna like squirt her with water." And he's like, "Oh,
Right.
what like?" And he finds out, "Oh, all we need is for you to cover this lady's tits and stand behind her. I'm gonna snap a picture for a DVD cover."
Right. Which do you think that uh every time he ever like did like a DVD cover or anything else, or had like any kind of a role in
Mm-hmm.
any one that he was a part of, they give him like a free copy of the disc?
I don't know. That's hard to say.
Because it does seem like in his leisure time when he has all this different stuff that he is always like watching porn, and
Yeah, it's true.
it's always scenes that he's like been in. He's like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, you know.
yeah, and I like this. After he finishes his photo shoot, he moves on to the next scene where he's actually helping out with his AD duties, and they're like, "Okay, this is what's going to happen. Uh, we're going to give you a clock and a sippy cup full of lotion or lube." And you see him, he's
Right.
holding it, and he's like, "Okay, this is what's going to happen." And the director's like, "Okay, we're gonna make you stand next to him. Nobody's going to see you. And when the time runs out, they're going to switch positions. But if he needs lube or lotion, he's going to put his fingers in this cup. Be ready. Put his fingers in this cup so he can put his finger in the cup and get his dick all nice and smooth.
Right.
So he's like, oh, okay. He's like, man, he's watching this guy. He's like, man, this guy's a pro. He's like doing it and getting it done, and the scene is just so funny.
Right.
There's like a huge like exposition dump, of the because they even say he's like slacking off at one point. Kirino is,
Right.
I think, in the scene. But yeah, we go back and which he goes, oh no, and then he goes into another scene to where he's like, okay, this is what you're gonna do. The director's like, okay, we need you to fondle her tits, just play with your tits, And he's like, no, 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 you're doing it all wrong. This is how you do it. And he gets the other AD guy and he starts playing with his tits.
Yeah. Trying to act like how he's gonna do it.
He's like, this is what you do. Come on, stop repeating stuff.
Yeah. Because I think he was just pulling them sideways and then pushing them back together. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, you got to be all over the place with them, okay?
Yeah, and this scene's really funny where he's sitting behind the couch and he's like, make it look pleasurable for her, not for you. And he's like, oh, he's like this or this, like this how you want it, He's like, I'm running out
Right.
of stuff to do at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
So yeah, we moved to chapter 5. And chapter 5 is where they deal with the catering. Gets put on the
Yeah.
set with the catering.
Yeah, because
You would take
they're
that?
gonna be there. They're gonna be there for a while, so he has
Yeah.
to order the food. Which I mean, and a lot of this makes sense too.
Mm-hmm.
But I also thought it was kind of funny that how they had him catering is kind
Mm-hmm.
of like, okay, well, we're going to be doing this, and you have to make sure that you get like this stuff, and it is just kind of weird how almost like prim and proper
Yeah.
that ordering food has to be for what the actors and actress are going to have because it'll affect them as the day goes on.
Yeah, and he the one of the ads tells him, "Hey, make sure you don't eat anything like heavy. Don't eat too much. It'll affect your erection. Just take it easy. Don't pig out, and whatnot. But the scene he ends up getting into where I don't know if it was like a softcore scene that he was in, but they start talking to him. He's like, "Okay, finally, I get to be on, and I get to have sex, actual sex." And they're like, "Yeah, you're not gonna stick it in. You're not gonna stick it in whatsoever." He's like, "Well, what do I do?" He's like, "Well, you're gonna go down on the girl, and then you're gonna pretend to stick it in, and
Right,
pretend like you're fucking her."
right. Which I mean, honestly, makes you think: how much stuff do you watch that you could watch that could actually just be fake?
Oh, most definitely true.
Because
But I
there
feel
was I had two questions in this part.
okay.
The first one was that
Uh
how
huh.
many actual scenes do people actually watch that are fake? Because the other thing is, it almost seems like American wise that it's all pretty real. Like everything happens. There's always sticking it in,
Yeah.
even for anything.
Yeah.
But then the other question kind of thingy that I had is like, well, what do people like eat? Like do you come onto the scene and like instantly you're like, oh, I'll just have a salad,
Yeah, let's have a salad.
something like yeah, no, give me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich,
Give me one cube of tofu.
because we're so used to seeing the behind the scenes of like uh movies and stuff where you have the whole like food table, there's sandwiches there's donuts, there's all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
um and that's kind of the part that makes me think like, well, if you had all those options in front of you, like how does it work,
Yeah, and this is where we learn about fake jizz or fake
Yes,
cum. We
yes.
find out that since he had a role earlier before, he hadn't had full time to recharge, as they say. And we find out that they just make some fake jizz and squirt it into the girl's mouth,
Right,
and they cut away and make it look like they just cummed in her face.
right. And there is
I'm
a
not gonna
couple different ways that you make it.
not gonna lie. When we got to the instructions on how to make your own fake cum for dummies,
Both of them.
well, there's the yeah, for both of them, for recipe 1 and recipe 2.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie, I want to see if it's actually real and try it.
you go for it, bud. You go for it.
I mean, right, right.
Right. Which I
I mean,
wonder
it's
if
just
there's this is what they had for him. I wonder if there's other ones that we have like here.
uh-huh.
Because one of the
Well,
ingredients on the
I never heard of making fake cum.
yeah, one of the ingredients on the first one is lotion, and I kind of wonder if that's real or because I just don't really feel like anybody would really put lotion in their mouth. But
Well, it's not like they're gonna fucking swallow it,
right, I don't know.
because it's they need 100% pure banana juice, tea, eggs, and lotion.
Right,
But you're also like you put the lotion in, and then like you like put like a napkin or something on top of it, and kind of filter it through. It's weird, but hey, I mean, to each their own, I guess.
right,
Who knows? But you would
right.
think the next day or the next
for chapter
scenario.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he starts picking up and actually being more. He's more famous about it.
Yeah, he's getting more calls and more people are referencing to other places and other companies.
Yeah. So we get it where he actually gets hired by his first female producer,
Hmm.
and she's actually more of a solo person
Yeah.
than everywhere else that we've kind of seen. Um, she really, as far as we know, is basically the only person that has the.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
I almost called it a VCR. Has like the camcorder.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just her. Like the other places that we've seen a few of, there were more. Like there was the main guy, the director, like two assistants, and a couple other people. This one, it's just the girl all by herself.
Yeah, and she shows up and she's like, "Hey, I need you to fill out this form. Just the usual stuff. Your name, your favorite position. Uh, do you like to drink pee?" And
Oh
he's
my
like,
god!
"What? Pee? What are you talking about?"
Yeah, that lady gets a little crazy.
Yeah, she's like, I just need to know. We know what's going on. And he's like, "Okay, strip. Take your clothes off."
Which
And
I kind of wondered too if she was ever like a porn star or anything at all.
I
Just as
got the
well as she kind of knew it.
I got the impression of
Right. Me too.
maybe she was retired and went into directing.
Right. Well, and then the other thing is a lot of those ladies will actually get out fairly early because when they want to retire, they don't want to like waste all their time. So, I mean, we just don't really have a lot of the older people from back in the day, I guess, that do
Well,
that
they
stuff
probably
anymore.
get into other roles or just retire, or do other things within the industry. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. I know one of the ladies from way back in the day um, ended up becoming a director and actually
yeah,
making a lot more stuff beneficial for other people.
yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Like a lot of people who run the porn industry are just old white guys.
That's true.
You know,
So it's a little better that they're branching out a little bit. And then you have independent kind of film workers now.
that's true. But we get to this scene where she's like, "Okay, you're gonna do this. You're gonna have a little nipple play. You're gonna have this girl like pinch your nipples, suck your nipples." And she's like, "Oh, okay, they're getting into it." She's like, "Yeah, you like that? You like your nipples licked?" And she's like, the director's like, "No, do it harder, do it harder. I need you to just bite into him." And you can see he's like writhing in pain, like it fucking hurts him. But
Right.
he's not that into the pain stuff. And you see him and he's like, did that hurt? Is that okay? And he tells her, he's like, yeah, it's kind of hurt, but it's no big deal. But honestly, yeah, it really kind of hurt. She's like, okay, now we're going to move into some grinding. He's like,
Right.
grinding? What? You're just gonna let me stick it in? He's like, no, we're not gonna stick it in.
Not a fan of that.
Not a fan of that. I'm not a real fan of grinding. And apparently, our actress grinds a little too hard and pops some blood vessels in his pee pee.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh no, my penis is broken."
Right.
Not gonna lie. So I found that out that you can actually break your penis.
Yeah, you can.
It hasn't personally happened to me, but I have heard of people breaking
So
their penis before.
so I think it's on Hulu. You'll
Uh
have
huh.
to watch a few episodes. Um, it's called "Sex Sent Me to the
Oh
ER,"
yes, I know I've seen that one. Yeah.
and there's one guy in there that was a boxer,
Uh huh.
and him and his girlfriend started going too hard, and she broke it.
Yeah, they just like probably
And
landed wrong on it.
yeah, and how the guy just starts explaining it. He's like, yeah, he's like, they actually have to like cut it open, like sew the muscle back together, and because now basically the muscle has gone into like a necrosis state here and there,
Well, you can also
and
break your shaft as well.
well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And he said, just however it happened, is, and then there's just blood everywhere, and I was like, that's like a horror movie.
Exactly right.
So,
Well, the fears of breaking your pee-pee. I just
right,
I don't like that part right there. I don't know. That scares the shit out of me. But we go to the doctor and we find our first reference to another manga.
right,
Who's the doctor for Kirino? Do you know who he
isn't it?
is?
Is it Blackjack?
It's Blackjack. Yeah, Blackjack's in this comic.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Blackjack.
yeah.
He's like, just stay off it for a couple weeks. You'll be okay. You know,
Right? You'll be okay, Buckaroo.
you'll be okay. Give him a pat on the back, send him home. You know, and it just keeps going on, going on. We get more insight into the porn industry,
Right. And I
and
mean, we find out there's more people that are nerdy too, that
yeah, true.
are kind of like there's more of a groove, I guess. I would say there's like a business side,
Uh huh.
and then there's actually like the opposite side, because like the other guy that's like the other AD with him,
Hmm.
um is an otaku nerd.
Yeah, but he's not like overtly like a nerd.
Right. So I
He's
mean, it
very
just seems kind of weird whenever it comes down to it that there's people that are like more of the otaku fan base, and then you
uh
have this other side of everybody that's more like the business side
yeah.
of it.
It's really interesting to see like how it goes and why people are involved in this business
Yeah,
because there are those a lot of preconceived notions to it when people get into it or whatever.
right. So, and then we have where our guy actually gets a script for him to do stuff,
Yes.
which basically it's he's showing his face, so he's not an extra or anything, but he still
Mhm.
technically is.
Yeah.
And it's him. Basically, what
This.
the script says is where he's going to get cut,
Yeah. You get cut.
which is cuckolding.
Yep. And where he basically has to sit there and watch this guy sleep with his pretend wife, and it kind of brings up memories of when he was married, kind of.
Right, which I love that was actually added into this as well, because we are getting his parts that he's remembering of how things happened before, instead of it all being just the porn industry and
Yeah.
a complete um overhaul of like info. So we are
Yeah.
getting a little bit of like the natural story of his life.
Yeah. It wasn't like the greatest, but it brought up a lot of really, I guess, bad feelings.
Right.
What it seemed like, and you know, uh, it didn't really end well for him when it came to his relationship with his wife.
Right.
We don't really know
And,
if it was him or her.
right. And I
You know.
can't remember if we're coming up to it soon, but there's a part where they actually bring up somebody tells him not to work for other like companies. And that was another thing that I was a little confused about, is because right now hasn't he worked for two or three other companies?
I thought he was working for the same company, just like different directors.
I have no idea. I thought it was three different directors.
Was it? I don't know.
I thought it was the chick, the brown haired guy that's smoking all the time, and then the short kind of camera guy that has the blonde hair that was dodgy, I guess.
I don't remember them saying for him not to work for different companies.
Yeah.
I don't remember that part.
Who knows? And
Who
it might be
knows?
coming up. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So
But we end up taking a trip out to the middle of nowhere. He thinks he's going to get kidnapped at this point because he has no idea what's going on. But he's supposed to go help out with the filming of more stuff. And we find out that, oh, there are other productions. This is where other productions are out here filming
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
And
they're
it's
all
like,
doing they're all doing like shoots to get them into their scenes.
yeah, and he's like, oh, don't look at any of them, don't talk to any of them. The producer or the director is like, don't talk to them. You're gonna get in trouble. And we get his first actual scene to where he has to, what was it? He has to pretend to play tennis, and he has to, which is really funny.
Right.
He's like, I don't know how to fucking play tennis. What are you talking about?
Right. Well, and then he actually does. He gets the one hit, and he's like, "Yeah, I did so good."
Yeah, I did so good. I'm so awesome.
Which, and then we do get a scene because it's a setup scene where the female manager is supposed to take him and another uh player back into the gym room.
Yeah, and she's like, you y'all did so good. It's time to get your secret reward.
Right.
And
Which I
she's
think
like,
it's funny for him too. He's like, "Why is she giving him more attention than me?"
yeah, but it's funny because she's like, I'm going to give you your secret reward for playing so well. It's not just a reward; it's a secret reward.
Right.
Yeah, and she's like, okay, take off your pants. I'm gonna suck your dick. And but he's like, yeah, it seems like she's paying a lot more attention to him than me. But when you look at the final product, no, it's not really like that. It's just in my head.
Right.
And we get this. She's like, okay, now I want both of y'all to put your dicks in my mouth at the same time.
Right.
And while we're saying this, we never see a single dick in this book
That's true.
ever.
The only thing close enough to it that we see is the little black bar outline.
Yeah, we see a black bar. That is it. We always and we don't even see like vaginas. We just see tits.
That's true.
For a book about the porn industry, it's not that dirty.
Right. That's true.
But
Very,
he's
very
like,
true.
but I love this. I love this inner monologue where he's like, "Wait, what? You want me to put my you want to put my dick next to his dick? Like what? And
Right.
okay, but let's just not touch, okay?
Right.
I don't want
But
to touch his dick."
we found out too that he carpooled
He carpooled there to get there.
there with them. And we found out that there has been a thing where you're not exactly allowed to film sexual content outside.
Yes.
So that's why, like with this part, or in this chapter where we see them kind of starting everything outside and then moving inside,
Mm-hmm.
is it's actually become a thing.
Yeah, but I love this inner monologue where he's where she's like, hurry up, come on, do it together. The actress is like, and he's like, oh, I really wish I didn't have to do this. Instead of drawing how it really looked, enjoy this cute picture of these two boy dogs.
Right.
You don't even get to fucking see it,
Right.
which probably makes it even funnier in
It
like
does.
a odd intentional censorship.
It does.
Yeah, it does. It makes it funny. It makes it really funny. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no, I mean that was it.
Okay.
So then we get a little bit of the past from him of when he was a student. which
Mm-hmm.
is good too. Like I said about the ex-wife stuff. And then we get to chapter 9, which the title of it is "You're a Real Porn Star Now." So this is where we actually get his very first scene where he actually gets to sleep with a porn star. He actually gets to stick it in his words.
And his face is on screen, I
Yes.
believe, for the first time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But I like this point. They make a point to be like, hey, look, every month you need to go get tested for STDs. Everybody has to do it. If you're going to be in the sex industry, you need to get tested. Keep up with it. If you don't keep up with it, you're not going to be able to have a job.
Right.
So I like it that they like. I already knew this, but I like it that they make a point that like it's a thing in Japan as well. Because I knew it was a thing in the U.S.,
Yes.
but I didn't know it was not. It was a thing in the Japan.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the Japanese porn industry is the same as the American porn industry.
Uh, yes and no in some characteristics.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I do know like they find seeing like the vagina and the penis immoral,
yeah, you can't show those.
and so they're all like, they're pixeled out from
Yeah,
it.
they are.
But
Yeah.
there's also another thing which I didn't know this until one of my teachers in college actually brought it up, and I didn't know this until they actually said that. But based off of like China and Japan
Mm-hmm.
Perfecture, they actually don't want Americans to do anything with them because they don't want their pleasure income to get paid out to anybody else but
Oh,
an Asian person.
interesting.
Yeah. I didn't know that. So that's why like a lot of times in those scenes you don't actually see anybody else but Asian people.
Huh. Interesting.
Um so anything that you see like an Asian person that's uncensored and everything else like that,
Uh-huh.
most likely has it either happened in the States or somewhere out of Asia that wasn't in Asia.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's just kind of crazy knowing some stuff like that,
the more you know.
right?
Jim Graves is a big pervert. I'm just
So
joking.
the more you know. Talking about King of Itchy.
Oh, that's true. True story, brah.
Yeah.
True story, brah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets his first scene. Let's talk about this and how he goes through it. This was really interesting to see how he goes about maneuvering through this first sex scene. We find out that he, as always, he is still a little freaked out, still a little uncomfortable, but now he has to strategically put on the condom and not let anybody see he puts on the condom, like in the
Right.
video. Excuse me.
Right, which
And
that's one of the things I thought was a little weird too, is that they had it set up like that where
yeah, and also he has to pay attention to the director,
yeah,
and the director's like giving him hand signs off to the side. He's like, okay, go faster, faster, faster. He starts like flapping his arms. He's like, oh my god, I don't know if I'm gonna keep up with this guy. This
right.
is
Which
crazy.
I really wonder too if the reason why he put one on was because of like obviously they wanted to be protected and everything, but how they talk about how they want it to happen. I wonder if they wanted it to be like where we didn't see that.
Yeah, they wanted it to be like, from what I took away from it, they wanted it to be like you that us watching could not see the condom.
Right. And they thought
So
like that we thought they were doing it like raw or whatever.
yeah, basically, there was nothing in between them.
Right.
You know, yeah,
There's nothing in between us.
yeah, but yeah, that was really interesting. He barely keeps up. It looks like he's having a hard time, but yeah, they said, oh, he did a good job. He did a decent job. And he is officially, I guess, technically a porn star now,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because he
which
finished his first scene.
and I wonder because we don't actually have a picture of him in this book at all. I wonder if we
No.
typed in Kirno Elefante, if he
Ooh, do you
would
think
pop
something
up.
would pull up?
I wonder. Like, I kind of want to know that now.
Oh, keep talking. Let me pull him up.
um. Well, like with the 30-day thing, I know with that as well that you do have to get one every 30 days, and it was a lot more peer pressured, I guess, because people did want to see it. With
Mm-hmm.
like this scene, they wanted to see it more like raw dogged, and
Yeah.
there were parts where it was almost being like added into it, like you had to do it without one on, and a lot of like the female porn stars and stuff weren't actually able to fight against it
Yeah.
because then it would kind of make your contract null and void.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's why, like a lot of times now, if you see different actresses or actors, they actually work with the same people all the time.
I mean, I think they have like people they work with, but I don't know if it's like all the same people. You
Well,
know.
yeah, when you get higher up, most of them are the
So
same.
so speaking of this picture,
Yeah,
I typed in the name and I get the manga, but there
yeah.
is a picture of him, but his face is covered by what he looks like in the book. There's no actual like you don't get to see his face.
Well, that's crappy.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next chapter, and which is the last chapter, right? There's like 11. Yeah, this is the last chapter. There's like
Yeah.
12 fucking chapters in this book. No, there's 11. There's 11. So we move on. He is officially a porn star, as they like to say. And he goes on and he meets a good old masochist lady who might be an ex porn star. We don't know, right? Right?
Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? And she's like, okay, we got another scene for you. And it's the scene, and this girl is supposed to be dominating him, but she can't take it seriously because of the way the script is written. So she continuously keeps cracking up,
Yeah,
right?
because didn't she say it was written for like an old person?
I think so. And she's like supposed to be betraying like uh I think like a high school student maybe.
Yeah.
She's in like a school uniform and she has like a kendo stick and she's trying to pretend to be tough and whatnot, and she's not doing a very good job at it. But then you kind of find out that he's not doing a very good job at being dominated, and he learns that he might like it a little bit to get a little
Right.
dominated, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Which I found it funny too that we have another scene where there's a girl in um actually in like a skirt or
Uh huh.
whatever,
Yeah,
and that it's talking us through like, oh well, you need to be wearing this and this is how you tuck it and all this other stuff. I'm just like, what?
yeah. I mean, because that's kind of where the book ends. Is he finishes up this scene and like we're kind of really glossing over this aspect. Well, after this, really, he meets this other porn star actually. So it ends with him meeting this other porn star, getting to help be an AD on this porn set, and this guy is just breezing through this porn. He's like the shoot. He's just breezing through it, having a good time. I just hit my microphone. I hope nobody hurt their ears with that.
How
Um,
could you?
and he's like watching and studying this guy and learning from him, and it's really interesting to see how he kind of started off like just wanting to like fuck people basically, and
Right.
now it's kind of like he's kind of taking this a little more seriously
Right.
in that aspect. And I know we really glossed over a lot of things in this book
That's true.
because there is so much compacted into this book. There's a
Right.
lot. There's a lot.
Right. And I mean, there's so much that I feel like when you read it, that you have outside questions that you don't even know
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Like this guy that's right here at the end of the book or whatever, he says that he has enough in him to do the scenes, but then he's getting ready in a flash or whatever, and
Hmm.
we're kind of like, well, what's going on with this? Why is he getting ready so fast? He's like, oh, I got another scene to go do.
He's like, "What? You can do 2 in 1 day?"
Yeah.
Like Kirino says. He's like,
And I mean,
"Yeah, I could do.
and
I
he
could do it." You
might
know,
do three. I mean, we don't know.
he might do 3. I don't know because he doesn't let it all out. He only lets a little bit at a time.
Right.
He doesn't blow his load in one space. He blows
Right.
it in 3 spaces.
Right. So I mean, we have so much other stuff that is like
Yeah,
a thing that we're all like, what?
yeah, yeah. And it's funny to see. And I really want to see. And that's where our book ends. And we did gloss over a lot of this stuff because there's a lot of info dumping in this.
Right.
And just different aspects. So we kind of just gave you kind of like the cliff notes for the entire volume of manga. Um, but one thing I like about this is there is a comedy slant in this book.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily take itself seriously in the ways of Kirino, but there is a serious nature to the book in the fact that you are learning with him as well and learning about all the things that the porn industry goes through. I'd be
Right.
really interested to see like if like people find out later that he does porn and they have a very negative reaction to it at one point.
Right. That's
Maybe
true.
his family finds out and they like disown him, because we've seen like in Gigant, like her family to Papiko and the Gigant, she does porn and her family wants nothing to do with her, but her porn industry, her being in porn like helps support her family.
Right.
So it's like a weird like double-edged sword type of
So
thing.
if anybody's reading Gigant, it's Papico or Papico
Yeah.
or Chiho.
Yeah, they call it like Papico or something.
Yeah, that's her
Yeah.
porn star name. I just wanted to throw that in there for anybody that was like, "What?" Because I've read the second and third ones, and they only call her that like 4 times
Yeah. Yeah.
in all three volumes. So
I mean, there's like 6 volumes now.
right,
Do you know that's ending with volume 10?
I
I
did
didn't know
not know
that.
that.
Yeah, it's gonna be 10 volumes. And
Yeah,
we got to recover that on the podcast. Oh, that book is fucking crazy.
we got a bunch to cover on the
but
podcast.
but yeah, like I like it. Like I thought this book was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Uh, Even reading it a second time, I did pick up on a lot more stuff. The
yeah,
second time I read it, because I think the first time I read it really fast to do a video on it because I wanted to get a video out there. And I think I missed some stuff. I kind of glossed over some stuff a little bit in the book, and I liked that they also portrayed the women in like a good light as well.
right.
It wasn't like they were they were portrayed in more of a like a respectable light.
That's
If you
true.
get what I'm saying, if you get what I'm saying with that,
That's true. Yeah,
it wasn't like overtly sexualized and their tits are always hanging out and stuff like that. You will get like small like cheesecake scenes in here, but like
yeah.
it kind
Which
of reminded me almost
that's
like
that's another
go ahead.
thing that I wonder is if in volume 2 or volume 3 or whatever, we will get scenes like that where there are women that are in it that are just complete like bitches.
Oh, maybe.
Because we've had the girl that was too rough with him that somewhat
Mm-hmm.
made his penis bleed, that he had to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
We had a couple other characters that have done different things like that to him,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they are seen in a good light. And so I kind of
Mhm.
wonder too at that point, like, will we have another character basically seen in a very bad light?
Or if we get like a role reversal type of thing where like she doesn't like really 100% feel comfortable or consent to whatever they have to do, you know? And
Right,
maybe she gets forced into doing something that she doesn't want to do
right,
for her position when acting, you know? But
right,
it'll be interesting to see. I really do want to read more of this book. I do
right.
find it very, very interesting that other people are picking this up and they're picking it up, and women are picking this book up
That's true.
and they're enjoying it,
That's true.
which I was like, what?
Right. I feel like that's one of the things you could probably do to somebody too. You could be like, I always knew you were a big pervert. Why? Because you picked up that book. And it would be hard for anybody to argue their way out of a brown paper bag and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, at some point in your life, you've never watched porn, but you're reading this book."
Like
So,
it's not, like I get it how people can see like maybe it has like a bad viewpoint or or whatever,
right,
or a bad view of like of the book because it's about the porn industry, but it's not like fucking hentai.
right,
It's just a book about the one man's journey through the porn industry, and it very much subverts what we think of the industry as a whole and shines a new light on it, potential new light on it.
right.
And I
Very
like
true.
that. I like that. It
Very
was,
true.
and I would love to see other people's views. I saw some other people's views on it that they ended up liking it. They thought it was fucking hilarious, and it is fucking hilarious.
Right.
Like it is. I normally do not laugh out loud or get like Japanese humor.
Yeah.
I'm more of like an American humor, like raunchy comedy kind of guy. So when it comes to like,
Well, and we might find that out later on too. Like, what if he has been to America and um, done some porn or anything else like that? I mean, that's
mhm,
something that we just don't know just yet because it hasn't. We haven't gotten to those points yet of this book.
yeah, yeah, no, it's totally true, yeah. Which I want to know more. I definitely want to know more. This is like a must read. This will probably go to the top of the stack every month it comes out
Yeah,
because I just want to know more. It's so different than a lot
him.
of the.
You'll be like, hit me with your best stack.
It's so different than a lot of the, I guess you could say, quote unquote, etchy manga that we normally get out here.
It's true.
And
It
I
it
think this,
reminds me of a. It kind of reminds me of interspecies reviewers, but without the monster girl aspect to
I
it.
have to say, I like this more than interspecies reviewers. I didn't really care for interspecies reviewers that much.
You take that back.
I mean, I liked it, but like, it wasn't like,
Yeah.
I haven't picked up any more volumes, and it's been like 2 years since I've read it.
You take that back.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well,
I
at
thought
least if you got volume 1, so
I got volume 1. That's it.
so we can cover all the podcasts. That's about it.
I'd say though, when I first picked this up and I opened it up and I was like, oh no, is
Well,
this a? I was like, oh no, when I picked up a porn star manga because the way the panels are laid out, it's a 4 panel manga, but
yeah,
it's a consistent story all the way through. I thought when I first flipped it open, I was like, is this a gag manga? Is that what this
right.
is? And I was like,
Yeah,
oh wait, no, it's not a gag manga.
yeah,
It's not. It can tell a consistent story, like a continuous story. I was like, oh, thank God, it's not a gag manga.
right,
I hate those manga. They're not
right.
good, in my opinion,
So,
personal opinion.
right. Well,
But
and I agree with you too. I think it is kind of a gag manga in the aspect that it has comedy to it.
Yeah.
but it's not like a coma that is only 4 panels.
Yeah.
You only have 4 panels to tell that story in. So I
True.
agree with you. Like I like that aspect that's not in there.
So, what did you, as a whole, think of this first volume?
It was really good. I felt like it was very informative, and I mean, I just really enjoyed kind of his walk slash what he had to know going through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, and then some of like the stuff was debunked. Like
Yeah.
things that we kind of think about part of it and how that could not be true.
True. Things could be a little over exaggerated from his point of view,
Right.
which they kind of were a little bit,
Right.
you know.
So,
Yeah.
but I would definitely say that I would probably give this 4 stars out of 5.
I would give it. I would give it a 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Um,
good. It was good, but there's a lot of info dumping at some points.
that's
It's not
true.
like long, like tedious info dumping. It's just you're learning more about what's going on.
Right. So,
It's
but
not like isekai info dumping.
I did really enjoy it. So,
Yeah, it's definitely a must read if you're into comedies. Uh, I recommend both men and women pick this up.
right.
It's that funny. It's funny. But yeah, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so as always, guys, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, and we will catch you later. See you next Tuesday.
Peace out.